Hi class, in this video you need to, I strongly recommend, actually you're going to need to pause and read the video first read the paragraph first and then start listening to my commentary. Okay, so why don't you pause now and read this whole paragraph, and then when you're done, come back and listen. Okay, welcome back. My suggestion for this one is to make this 2 body paragraphs. I've highlighted the first 2 lines right there because that really should be developed into its own paragraph. Gilbert speaks of fear keeping us from living creative lives, and she does that, but then they have this quote which says, argue for your limitations and you get to keep them. So what they need to do is talk about, in their own words, what Gilbert means by that. Okay, so what does that mean? Really, so just write some sentences about that and how that connects to fear keeping us from living our lives. Because it seems like what they're getting at is that it's the fear actually is the choice of the person. If they're focusing on their limitations within themselves, they've got to make it clear. Do they mean like what they believe they can do, or limitations of others put on them? It could be both. So whatever they mean by that, they have to say what limitations, what part does the person, their belief about themselves or what they can do, go into that. You really have to develop those sentences, or bridge sentences between that first sentence and your quote. That's necessary. So that's going to be that first body paragraph there. Then I'm not sure these 2 will go right after the other, but before we get to that second one, back to the blue highlights there, it would probably be a good idea to put an outside quote in there. And you could talk about how what we believe is true for us. I know this particular student had some research, some psychological sources on there. What we believe is true for us. That's a basic psychological foundation. You can use some of those keywords and put an alternative quote. In this one, so you've knocked 2 out, right? You've got a big magic quote and an outside source quote. So that's what I would do for that one. And then this one, it looks like it's pretty well developed on its own. Living creatively can have a life-changing effect on health and wellness. So great. So it talks about her being well. What I would do is add maybe one more sentence here and say, again, think about using an outside quote on this one, if it might suit them, about, let's see this last sentence. Susan found she loved skating more than ever. Her confidence was boosted and she was getting quality exercise 3 days a week. That was good for her body and soul. Okay. What you could do, especially if you're going to use this one right after this one, if you are going to do that, what you could do is say something like, she was tired of arguing for her limitations. Once she stopped doing that and let go of those and was free, this was the benefit of it. You could just write one more sentence. So we develop this one, that can stay there, write this one, and then add one more line that kind of brings it back to that idea, because it's the contrast to it. I hope that was helpful. That's paragraph 1. And then we're going to go to paragraph 2. I'm just going to pause. So we're going to pause and read paragraph 2 on your own and then come back. Okay, we're back. So paragraph 2, it reads, many people go through their everyday lives and act as though everything is okay. They either don't realize or don't want to admit to themselves that they are not happy at all. Many people will never know if they ever have the chance to be happy because they are afraid to try new things. Everything is so damn scary. Some people just simply lack the confidence to try different things. This could be from getting teased as little kids or a host of other things that happen in their lives. If they would build up the courage to try to be as little creative with their lives, maybe they could find some happiness. So it seems like the topic sentence here is, many people go through their everyday lives and act as though everything is okay. So this could be like a nice, this is like, this could be a nice this would need a different paragraph after it, but right now it's fine the way it is. Remember, we're just going over concepts right now. We're going over concepts and hitting the prompt, because what they're saying is that we tend to make ourselves believe that we can do anything. We don't have because we don't have the confidence, or we're teased. So this is great. So what I'm going to ask this writer to do in their next paragraph is to get depending on their thesis, like, why is this important to be aware of, or what does this lead to? Are they saying it seems like they're agreeing with the quote? If you have a thesis like, because if we don't, we'll never know who we really are. Some of you had a thesis like that. Then what you want to do after this one, you can write another paragraph after this one where you talk about the effect, cause and effect. Where might this lead someone? And how would that make them not be a life where they would be happy? Maybe like a cause and effect. So general enough, good, we have an idea. And then the next paragraph, you could talk about something specific, a possible effect of when we are not, we go through like everything's okay. Okay? And then, of course, you could write some more and say the opposite. All right, let's go to the next one. Paragraph 3, you want to pause? Okay, we're back. So this one, it's clear that if you choose to live a creative life, you are most likely to get criticized by people that live a basic life. Majority of the time, we tend to let those options have an impact on our self-esteem. We start to feel uncomfortable and we start pushing forward. Dr. Tafadori argues that global self-esteem consists of two attitudinal dimensions. Past research has shown that those in low self-esteem tend to persist less after initial failure than those with high self-esteem. Basically, we need to have high esteem in order to pursue our dreams. That idea of feeling within you. That feeling within you. Gilbert in Big Magic says the universe buries strange jewels deep within us all, and then stands back to see if we can find them. In order to find these hiding jewels, we need to be persistent. And the primary thing is to have a high self-esteem. This is a fundamental step to start the process of living a creative life. Okay, so very nice conceptual-wise. This is and you guys can follow along about, we have that people can get criticized, and we let essentially what they're getting at is self-esteem. So here's like the main idea, and the quotes sort of relate to self-esteem as well. And the reason it seems like they're bringing this up is because if we choose a life like that, we're probably going to get criticized. And most of the time, we tend to let those opinions have an impact on our self-esteem. And then we start to feel uncomfortable and we start pushing forward. And this guy argues global self-esteem consists of two attitudinal dimensions. Past research. You've got to clarify what you mean by this. I think I know what you mean, but for your readers, okay? Then past research assume that those in self-esteem tend to persist less than those with high self-esteem. Oh, very nice. Good. Okay, you're good. Okay, so we have to have we have to have high self-esteem is what they're saying. And over here, they're bringing in the point from Gilbert's definition of creative living. What's implicit in the definition, or it's actually what's supporting that definition, is that we have these gems within us, which if we adopt that belief system, it's going to help give us more confidence, because there's an acknowledgement that there are jewels within us and would help with our persistence. I think what they're saying there. So this is nice. I'm trying to, if they could just kind of appear somewhere, like revise or add, and one of these first two sentences about how, this is very important, okay, because you have all the support, but we just need that one clarity of how adapting or embracing, that definition, that lifestyle will help boost your self-esteem, which then will higher the probability that you will have that life. Something along those lines. This is very good, though. Nice job on your research there. One little side note, just the last name, okay, in the citation, if you didn't mention it in the, you do have their last name here, so, okay, little side note here. Looks like this doesn't have a page number, and you are mentioning it in the intro. You do need to introduce your quote here. So this doctor argues that global self-esteem consists on two attitudes. So what you're going to do is put a colon right here, okay? Because essentially you're giving a little summary of what the doctor is saying here. So you're going to put a colon, okay? And you're not going to have a citation because you don't have page numbers. But what you are going to do is say, in the article, da-da-da-da, Dr. da-da argues. And that's going to take care of this. And you have your quotes, and we're going to know it's a direct quote, and you're going to cover yourself, okay? Okay. Very nice. And if you didn't catch that, you can pause and review it. It's a video. Yay. All right. Let's go to number 4. Well, how much do we have? 4, 5. Woo. 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Let's keep trucking along. 4. Okay, go ahead and pause it so you can read it and come back. Okay, welcome back. So 4, fear is a powerful blockage to a path of creative living. Being afraid has the ability to kill your ambitions, goals, and dreams. It also creates many excuses that seem believable enough for you not to move on forward in what you seek to do, especially with fear of rejection, which might be the biggest fear there is. Being rejected makes us feel like we are inadequate and lowers our self-esteem. In Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, she gives us a little list of many different things we might be afraid of. You're afraid you'll be rejected or criticized or ridiculed, misunderstood, or worst of all, ignored. Okay, so we have a little piece of Gilbert here, and it says, fear is a powerful blockage to our path of creative living. Okay, so basically they're saying that it blocks us, it makes us give excuses, and we could feel rejected, it makes us feel we're inadequate, and we have the worst of all. So this will only work, right now this is a little bit too summary heavy. However, I kind of have a feeling of where they're going to be going. If you and you probably are going to do this anyway, but just in case you aren't, you really need after this a paragraph where you talk about how this notion supports your thesis, and your paragraph has to be specific with some examples. What I mean by that, it seems like you're saying you agree with Gilbert because fear does these things with us. So if you say you might want to say there's a lot of ways you can go with this. You could talk about an effect it might have on someone's life. Be specific though, and why, and maybe you can put an outside quote in there. Or you could talk about when they embrace creativity. On the other hand, the fear's not there, and they're able to see what, like, it depends on what your thesis is saying, and you can direct it that way, but be a little more specific. This is a little general, then you're going to sort of, so it's like a triangle that's that way. I'm sorry, you can have 2 body paragraphs working together, so this would be your general, and your next one will be here. Okay, let's go to 5. This one's a little bit big one, so I'm going to pause for a moment and we'll come back. Okay, welcome back to paragraph 5. This one is very nice. It's really sophisticated. They spent a lot of time and research. You guys can tell it's just about the time and focus. It's very good. I need to tell you what the thesis for this one is. And the thesis is that although something along the lines of, I agree that, although I agree with Gilbert that, living a creative life can lead to, happiness. There are several different ways to fulfillment because everyone experiences their own reality, something along those lines. So it's, that's the thesis statement. So this is the development and why they're supporting it. And they have really nice research in there as well. I'll come back to that one, okay, in just a moment, because I want to show you 5 and 6 real quick. And first of all, I want to say that's great that you turned a paragraph in. You got all your points. Those of you who are maybe watching this video and didn't get a paragraph in, there's no way to help you with anything, and you have to have the courage to do it, okay? These 2, you got 10 points on your homework and getting feedback. Awesome. And you'll get there. Hopefully those other videos helped as well. And this is just means that we're all in different stages of the process. We're maybe in the beginning, in the middle, and then it's just more time. That's all it is, in clarity. So no worries, okay? Now, the reason I say that is because I want you to pause and I want you to read 6 and 7 and then come back. Okay, so with these two, actually are way too summary driven, and or they're talking about why we should live a creative life. So these need to be revised. Paragraphs 6 and 7 have to be revised. Specifically for 6, living a creative life will keep you from wondering what you would have happened if you actually did it. You will think yourself many years from now, you wonder how different your life would be. You didn't take steps you should have. The thought will haunt you, and it might change your mentality because you could be left with so much regrets. There will be times when you question yourself, what if? That's why you should chase after whatever you want to, because then you'll find the answers to your questions and you won't feel the need to repent about it. I'm not sure what that means. Anyway, do whatever brings you to life then. Follow your own fascinations, obsessions, and compulsions. Trust them. Create whatever causes a revolution in your heart. Live a life without regrets. So essentially it's too summary driven, and maybe this could have gone somewhere, but then it's a lot of Gilbert quotes. It's basically a summary of the book. Like, it's a mix of a summary, and I'm not sure where they're going here. So actually on second look, too much summary. I'm not sure how that's even connected here, and it's too much like, this is what you should do, and that's what you don't want. I wish I could make no, don't talk about what you should do. We're saying why we agree or not, okay? So that purpose is off here. But if we go up here, living a creative life will keep you from wondering what would have happened if you actually didn't do it. You will think of yourself many years from now, wonder how different life would be, take the steps. The thought will haunt you and might change your mentality because you're left with so many regrets. You'll be questioning what if, and that's why you should chase after what you want to, because then you'll find the answers to your questions. You won't feel the need for compulsions. What I would do is just stop at the what if. I would edit out this part, take that out, and then you could talk about what effects regrets have on a person. And there's lots of research on that on those videos I made for you. Some of those actually had a lot of information on that. It's the regret part, and the stress of the what if causes a lot of, like, even depression and anxiety, which is the opposite of an enchanting and happy life. So don't do the should stuff, okay? Forget that. But you have something here, and start developing that there. On 7, let me go over this one more time. The first reason, pause. Okay, we're back. The first reason that we live a creative life is openness to mind, because we're open to many discoveries. That is part of being creative. For instance, creativity can find our true meaning of ourselves, and being open-minded to the door is your reality. In the book of Big Magic, it says the idea of sensing your openness will start to do its work on you. It will send the universal, physical, and emotional of inspiration. An idea will open your inner creativity, because some ideas come from imagination, and imagining is a way to create. Lastly, having the courage in obstacles, even when scary ones. Life is about taking risks. Okay, this is all like summary. Doesn't really, I would just take that part out because it's just summary. It doesn't seem to have an aim where it's going. But let's see if we can do something with these first few sentences. The first reason that we live a creative life is openness to mind, because, let me read that again. The first reason that we live a creative life is openness to mind. Can you clarify what you mean by this, okay? Because we're open to many discoveries, that is part of being creative. Okay, so you have to be open to be creative. The first reason. So it seems like they're saying when you live a creative life, you are going to be open-minded. So maybe just say that. For instance, creativity can find our true meaning of ourselves. And being open-minded is the door to your reality. You've got to work out your thoughts here a little bit. I think I know what you're saying. You're saying that when we're creative, by nature, we're going to be open-minded. And when we're open-minded, we're going to be opening, like we're going to have opportunities to see different realities, or to form our realities, or to develop our realities. I think that's what you mean to say there. So be a little bit more clear. In the book of Big Magic, it says the idea, sensing your openness, will start to do its work on you. It will send a universal physical inspiration. Okay. I would keep all that part. Forget about that because you're too much into summary. What you seem to be talking about here is the open mind. And then you have where ideas would come in. And then you can talk about why that's a good thing. Like, why would you need ideas? Why would you, what would you be doing where you would need those ideas to be coming in? Well, think about where you are right now and things that you might want to do and you're not able to for whatever reason because you maybe don't know how. But if you saw it in from a different angle or were open, maybe you could. Okay, so that's what I would do there on second read. Sorry, I read this kind of late last night. And then I want to go back to this really big one. So back to paragraph 5. I already told you about the thesis where they agree with, although they agree with Gilbert, they basically don't agree this only one way, because Gilbert was trying to except where she was trying to make this universal for all cultures, except for, when it's like a totalitarian government or something like that, people are in danger. But this writer is there's other things this writer of this paper wants to talk about. So she's saying, although what I'm trying to say is that she's noticing, and rightfully so, that in Gilbert's vagueness to incorporate everyone in this writer, one of your classmates, is like she's missing some key fundamentals of wisdom and what leads to an enchanting life, which is experience and your own realities from different cultures. So it's really, really well thought out, really beautiful paper on that. So just looking at what's being left out of Big Magic. So since the moment we come to this world, to the last stage of our life, we constantly seek for a feeling of comfort. And that's a really nice first sentence, because we are looking for comfort and safety. And that kind of touches on the theme of fear for Big Magic. Okay, so it's really, really nice, really thought out. Either on our mother's chest or between the arms of our children or our child, we always like that warmth. Many researchers indicate that the first years of our lives are fundamental for the evolution of our adulthood. The greater good. Okay, so that sentence right there, many researchers, it's the third one down, many researchers indicate that the first years of our lives are fundamental for the evolution of our adulthood. The Greater Good Science Center of UC Berkeley and their Greater Good magazine article states, parents have a tremendous impact on whether or not their children grow up into happy adults. With that, we can come to the conclusion that the family values, nurture, and in general, our culture and society will determine a big part of our outcomes as an adult. Very nice. I hope this is a beautiful model for you guys. I hope you see that development from the beginning of that premise of we're looking for comfort, the places we look for it, and how that ends up in from our who our parents are, and by extension family values in the cultures we grow up amongst. They're all connected. Beautiful, beautiful. And this writer goes on. Gilbert in her book describes the big influence of her hardworking Scandinavian mother, who in her own way made her defeat her fears. My mother had a plan for turning around my fear that was almost comic in a straightforwardness. At every turn, she made me do exactly what I dreaded most. Our environment and experiences as a child will influence us in the way we see the world. And we also regulate our concept of happiness and how to acquire it. So she's bringing it back home with the environment, that last sentence. Very nice, a nice bringing us from the very first sentence of comfort and then showing how that actually is family and your parenting and your culture. And then the last sentence tells us that it's our environment and experiences as a child. Very, very nice. Nice job on the research too. In that next little paragraph, I personally consider that Big Magic is another word for what many people see as happiness. And who wouldn't desire joy in their life? The message of accomplishing Big Magic through living a creative life, and I'm not sure what, I'm not sure what that is. A mundane existence is a notice of hope and positivity, or just something that working, sorry, that walking hand by hand with what we learn through our life experiences could result in a valid guidebook to accomplish a more enchanted life. Okay. Another word. So this paragraph, let's see. I personally consider that big magic is another word for what people see as happiness. And who wouldn't desire joy in their life? Mundane existence. A valid guidebook. This could be, you could save that for, I know they wrote me, I weren't sure where to put this. And this is like when you're making, I don't know if you guys ever made cookies or you use the mold and there's extra dough on the sides and you remold it. This is just like your extra dough that came out of here. You could use this, repurpose it for your conclusion or put little pieces of it in different paragraphs. But I would save this for your conclusion. I would or you could, this is so nice. I don't want to mess with it. I know kind of why you're saying this. Like, I think this writer's like, no, I don't disagree. I do agree. It's just, there's so many, there's other ways. I do agree with her. There's just other ways is what this writer's saying. And I think she's trying to say that this is a part where I do agree. And if that's the case, now looking at it again, let's see. No, it looks like they're talking about life experience. So I would do is edit all that out, maybe save it for your conclusion, and maybe you can write a paragraph about the experiences. Somewhere in there, you'll talk about why Gilbert's rendition, why you agree with that part in the paragraph somewhere, in the essay somewhere. But for now, you're working on the other part, which is fine. This is really, really nice. I would develop this one, it seems like, more into the experiences part, because I know that's from this writer's intro. She was important. It was important for her. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I will, yeah, talk to you soon.